Was a girl running in our group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look out, buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
I really do, and I don't want to see. I'm with the majority of the people in this country that I don't want to see Chinese cars coming over here and out being cheaper than our cars.
Well, I mean, that becomes the other question is, even with, we talking about the Chinese cars, we're trying to ban stuff like TikTok because we're afraid of how much data it gets from your phone. I mean, imagine an entire car.
Oh, God, yes. And besides that, I mean, you're talking, the difference is we pay our assembly line workers $30 an hour or more.
Right, and they use slave labor.
They go $4 a week.
If they're lucky.
If they get something to eat.
Right.
I mean, it's just not the same. We have to keep this going. We have to keep America sovereign to its car business. That's exactly what this whole thing was about, and the majority of the people knew it. But there were people that got on social media and said, oh, my God, he's ruining the country. Well, he's not. It didn't work that way, and it's not going to work that way. All right. Okay. Nissan, their captive lender, I don't know who that is. I'll figure it out. Nissan Motor Acceptance sends Maryland dealership, Stu's Maryland dealership, says he owes millions for unpaid loans. How does a dealer get into the company for millions?
Wow.
I mean, that's not 20 cars.
Right.
That's not even close. That's 1,000 cars. Wow. Nissan Motor Acceptance Corporation sued a Maryland dealership, an affiliated company that owns the store's real estate, and their principal for selling more than 24 vehicles out of trust. So apparently they're not still there, so don't kid yourself. All right, that's just how it works. The suit claims that as of December 16th, Nissan of Bowie owed an unpaid balance of $6.3 million of its floor plan loan, and Jevmore Holding owned Nissan Motor Acceptance almost $10.4 million on a real estate loan secured by First Mortgage. Damn. Whew. The dealership sold vehicles that are collateralized its floor plan financing, but failed to remit the payment to the lender. So, according to the federal complaint filed January 3rd, both companies and their owner, Damon Lester, cross-guaranteed the two loans, it said. Well, you got some problems, Lucy. It also said the dealership violated the floor plan requirement by pledging collateral to other creditors without Nissan Motor Acceptance consent. He was playing it from both ends. Baltimore lawyer Lacey Rochester, I wanted to say lazy so bad, it's Lacey Rochester, who represents Nissan Motor Acceptance, said she cannot comment on the case. No, neither the dealer nor the attorney returned messages seeking comment. That's the best way when you're wrong, when you're in bad doo-doo, just refuse comment.
Yeah.
Just don't say anything.
So this is an interesting situation because you have to wonder how much Nissan gets involved with their dealers. As far as this is an interesting question. So I don't know, like if I have 100 cars on the lot, does Nissan front me that? Do I pay them ahead of time?
See, I don't think any acceptance company would put out a floor plan without the main company, Nissan themselves, actually backing it too.
Right.
They have to have several people responsible.
So, but I'm saying, so basically, if I had a dealership, Nissan is involved in some way.
Oh yeah.
And so we're almost like partners in this venture.
More or less.
They're also guarantors or guarantee, whatever that term is, guarantors on the loan. Guarantors on the loan. I assume that they front you the cars, But again, that's there's no reason why I could start a dealership. They send me 100 cars, I sell them. They go, "Where's our money?" I go, who? I refuse to comment, and they just disappear.
They went to Japan in a cardboard
and you
box.
just ship yourself in a. You put yourself in a box and ship yourself
box like Elon.
Ship yourself to Syria and buy a yacht.
Carlos.
Yeah, that's yacht money right there.
There it is. Well, Bosch is seeing 2024 operating profit plummet by a third. I don't know too many companies that could take a third of a loss. That's a lot. Robert Bosch's operating profit plummeted by a third to 3.2 billion euros, or 3.32 billion greenbacks. In 2024, a reflection of the wider crisis of the automotive and mechanical engineering industries. It's not good at all. The world's largest automotive supplier, which is Bosch, and manufacturer of a wide range of technology products from semiconductors to household electronics, underperformed with almost all business areas. They also make those defeat chips to pass the. That's how Volkswagen got in trouble. Stinky-gate.
Yeah.
And that was Bosch. That was their little chip. Business was particularly poor in Europe, with weak demand and a reluctance to invest and buy, the supplier said. Despite our best efforts, Bosch too, not completely immune. Bosch too was not completely immune to economic developments, said CEO Stefan Hartung. Wow. Adding that the auto industry was suffering from increasing competition, particularly in China. Yeah, well, I'm telling you, they got guys that work for $4 a week. Last year, Bosch announced plans to cut up to 5,550 jobs amid weak demand for intelligent driver assistance systems and solutions for automated driving. This is what Bosch does. They're a technical company.
Right.
And they can make stuff that's outrageous. Of course, they make a lot of stuff now, actually. I can buy Bosch wiper blades. I can buy Bosch, you name it, I can buy Bosch anything almost. And I don't care for brake pads. I don't care for those either. But these guys are they're like the thermometer for the car business. They are the biggest supplier in the world. And as Bosch goes, so goes Detroit. You see Detroit sliding down the hill, you'll know what happened. It was Bosch.
Right.
That's just how it's going to work. Yeah, it's not pretty. And I got to tell you, Charles, everybody is either talking about a loss, talking about lost wages, talking about lost profits, lost sales, or they're cutting back. It's just insane. You listen to the rest of this night or this story, and you will get what I'm talking about. It's different. It's very different than it used to be. GM cancels a third shift at the Mexico electric vehicle plant after only 8 months of operation. General Motors has dropped a production shift at an assembly plant that builds electric crossovers for Chevrolet, Cadillac, and Honda in Mexico. How do we end up in bed with Honda, Charles?
I think we're in bed with everybody.
I think we are. I think the car business is making strange bedfellows these days. GM's Ramos Arizpe assembly plant returned to 2 daily shifts in January after increasing to 3 last May, a spokesman has told Automotive News in a statement. Well, the Cadillac builds the Chevrolet Blazer electric vehicle, the Equinox electric vehicle, the Cadillac Optique, as well as the Honda Prologue that's built on General Motors electric vehicle architecture. That's why. The plant also builds gasoline-powered Chevy Blazers. A person with knowledge of the matter said ending the third shift resulted in the elimination of about 800 jobs. Boy, that's quite a bit of people. That's a lot of people to lose. Wow. That plant built more than 350,000 vehicles in 2024, with the Prologue, the Honda, accounting for 46,000 of them. So 300,000 of the other ones, the American cars. Wow. The GM cars they are. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, and I got to tell you, Chuck, this whole thing, everybody is cutting back. Everybody's cutting back.
Remember, this goes back to, well, there's a lot of people that are getting cut off right now because of what's happening in Washington with that whole complicated thing. But this goes back to that whole idea that we talked about even before the election, is with that when that gravy train of EV subsidies gets cut off, that's where you'll see if there's real demand for these vehicles, if they can be profitable when it's no longer being government subsidized.
And the unwarranted unemployment payments that have been coming on for so long,
right?
They're all going bye-bye. This whole thing is getting trimmed.
This is really, for a lot of people, I know there's a lot of people out there that are worried about, their Social Security payments or something like that. Nothing of the sort's going to get cut off. But the reality is that there's a lot being uncovered right now, and this is going to be one of those big things. Somebody was talking about was it $6 billion or was it $40 billion spent, and 6 charging stations were built and things like that. So a lot of this is getting uncovered, and we'll really, they'll get to the bottom of this. But the bottom line is this idea of just getting blank checks for hundreds, if not billions of dollars from the government is coming to an end.
Well, the whole thing is our government has been pumping out huge amounts of money to electric vehicle startups, electric vehicle regular Detroit Big Three. Anybody that wants to build a plant in America, they'll give you $1 billion.
And there's nothing inherently.
They won't give you any place to plug it in, but they'll give you $1 billion.
So there's nothing inherently wrong with government subsidizing ideas. The problem becomes when you're getting that check from the government, you're going to do things their way. So if the government says, here's what you're going to build a bunch of these kind of cars, or you're going to do this. So, well, that's not what the consumer wants, or that's not what we think is going to work. Well, it doesn't matter. It's our check. You're going to do what we say.
My dad always said, with government money comes government rules.
Yeah, I mean, they're always going to come with those strings attached, and ultimately it hurts the taxpayer, who's also the consumer, because, like we said, they're going to be building all these cars that you don't want, and they're just going to sit in a field someday until they blow up.
You think, Chuck, they're going to find any of these car companies that got billions of dollars? You think any of them kicking back? I'd be interested to know.
I think that's what we're seeing on the grander scale, is that there is a web of. So I don't want to go too far on this, but basically the idea was, using new software, they were able to deconstruct sort of the web of where a lot of this government money goes, and it was very surprising, and it's very, let's just say, circuitous.
Well, like we talked about this before on that one show with China. Why did we build all these cars and all these battery plants and all these car plants and put all this money in, and we built 6 charging stations?
Right.
And we didn't do anything with our infrastructure.
And again, even if you're in favor of it, there's a lot of people that come out and say, well, I'm in favor. Well, you can be in favor of it, but just know that spending billions of dollars for 6 charging is not sustainable.
They got so much damage in California last week. It's going to be hard to charge your electric car.
It's going to be hard. They're not even have power for years.
No, they're not going to have electricity.
So that becomes the question is, if my, let's say that, I know, for instance, that the power lines go up the mountain and the power lines are all burned up. You can still go up to the house and do things, but if you don't have a charger at your house,
right?
You can go back to your house, and especially if the weather's nice or whatever, you can stay there.
You need a generator.
Maybe you got solar, you got a generator, whatever. But how are you going to charge your car?
Yeah, you're not.
Right.
It's not going to happen. And that was the biggest problem that we had, Chuck and I, talking about why is there no infrastructure adjustment. Now I think we're starting to see. Automakers bolster entry-level offerings as prices weigh on the consumers. And they are. The prices are ridiculous is what they are. Automakers are responding to mounting concerns about vehicle affordability, producing more lower-end trims, like stripped-down cars is what they're talking about. creating value-focused special editions of popular nameplates, and in some cases, resurrecting base models they had killed off. Ford, Mini, Mitsubishi, and Ram told dealers at the NADA show last week in New Orleans that they would build more affordable vehicles. Chevrolet, Chrysler, and Volkswagen are among the brands that already have moved to offset rising vehicle costs with less expensive products. They just got out of hand. What the dealers have told us loud and clear through counsel is that affordability can't just be under $300,000 or $30,000. Bob Caffey, Ford's director of U.S. sales, told Automotive News. We have to look for affordability across all the segments. Other brands are taking similar measures, and they are, and they have to, because people can't go out and buy a car. Can you imagine go out and buy a car and have a $1,500 a month car payment? I don't think I could do that. I mean, I could pay it, believe me, but would I want to do it? No. I think that's morally wrong. A car is a tool that you use to facilitate your everyday life. And that's what it should be. And it should be priced as a tool. It should not be $1,500 a month for a car.